Charlie. Mark, 1 Charlie.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm full of optimism.
Einstein's theory of relativity.
And we're still seeing it quite well through that haze.
T-minus 37 seconds.
Spike is growing confidence.
E equals
14,
MC.
13.
That all men are created equal.
About the future innovations.
And growing strength in the air.
Ignition sequence.
Tear down this
Something's happening. Coming up on staging.
This is Finding Your Frequency with your hosts, Jeff Spenard and Ryan Treasure. It's time to speak up, share your voice, and hear from the thought leaders.
And welcome to Finding Your Frequency. My name is Jeff Spenard. I am the host. I am also the CEO and president of World Talk Radio, home to the VoiceAmerica Talk Radio and TV networks. Joining me, of course, my co-host, 12-year colleague, 17-year veteran, and the vice president of broadcast operations here at Voice America, Mr. Ryan Treasure. Ryan.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for having me on today. I'm
course.
excited about this show. It's going to be a good one today.
You are my sidekick, man. You don't have to ever thank me for a warm welcome. You are the man. How's it going?
Good, man. Good.
This is week number 4.
Yeah, week number 4, and I think everything's really getting together, and we're able to, piece all the book parts together and get these guests on, and it's really starting to take way.
Really starting to gel, absolutely. So let's talk about last week for a moment. Last week was all about defining your audience. We had 2 excellent, outstanding guests. We had Mr. Randall Libero, who shared his knowledge and his wisdom about how to start from within in your surroundings and move out. And we also had Mr. Eric Zulli, who is continuously on the move and doing different things. And I've got a little something to share about another event that's coming up soon. But Eric, who is one of the top 10 social influencers in the world, or I'm not sure if it's in the world or if it's noted somewhere, but he's one of the top 10.
Yeah, I think if it's influencer, it's of all of the locations worldwide for Facebook and Twitter.
There we go. So anyway, okay, so we had some excellent information, so be sure if you have any questions, give us a call. Ryan, the number is?
866-472-5788.
Excellent. Okay, let's talk about something else. Before we started the show, Ryan and I had a conversation about being honest and open, because the show, Finding Your Frequency, is to teach people how to broadcast themselves and their messages. So when you get behind a mic, or you get in front of a camera, or you're doing a podcast, or you're blogging, whatever the case is, you got to kind of check yourself on what you're doing. So I want to read something that is part of our description, and then we're going to go into a couple of mistakes that we've made over the past 3 weeks. So anyway, Finding Your Frequency is about more than just content and code. It is more than just philosophy and polishing your image. It's about both failure and success, the difference between the two, in all of the steps in between. Jeff and Ryan discussed the digital media space in all of its aspects. It's all about making the mistakes, taking the chances, summoning the intestinal fortitude to step out of your comfort zone, and discovering what you can accomplish when you decide to try, decide to learn, and decide that you have something to say and find your frequency.
Yeah, that comment, that text that you just read really synonymizes what the show is all about. Taking a piece of content and taking a chance and to deliver the message and learning along the way, which I think we've done a lot of.
We have. I got to be honest. There are certain weeks that we have fell short on preparation. While we were preparing, I think the football game was more important.
For week 1.
Yeah. So, again, when you're going to prepare to get behind the mic, be sure you're ready to do it. And for the most part, I would say 90%, we are right there.
Yeah, we're real close.
Yeah.
I agree.
The other 10% is something that's going to come with time. Again, this is week number 4. So, hey, we're going to get there. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to notice. And for me, I happen to use the word quite a bit.
Yeah,
you know?
I have one of mine, and I like to say, you know.
Right.
You know.
You know, and is a filler. You know, the reason why I use it, and I use it all the time, that's how I talk, period. See, there it is. And that was totally something that was not planned. So it's a filler word while you're thinking of what you want to say. It kind of fills that gap when you're trying to get that next piece of information out there.
Yeah, I think the same reason you use is the same reason why I use you know.
Right.
It's that split second where you're making sure that what you're about to say next is correct.
Right.
And so you use that filler word kind of as a crutch as you're searching around in your head for the next thing to say.
Exactly. So I'm going to challenge the audience. If you're paying attention, count how many you hear and how many you knows.
You know?
You know, right. And let's see how we do this week. Okay, let's talk about this week's topic. We are looking at choosing your medium, radio, TV, or both. What do you think about that, Ryan?
I think that both mediums, radio and TV, have a distinct purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I think both mediums also have the ability to work in tandem to reach a given goal. So excited to talk to our guests about that exact topic today.
Absolutely.
And I know we're going to be extracting out of those guests what is their favorite medium, or do they have an opinion one way or the other?
Yeah, and I think you're going to find that both mediums with both of these people very excited to be a part of both. But Ryan, I want to ask you first, which one's your choice?
Well, as much as I enjoy video, I love watching television, I love consuming video content, but my favorite is definitely the audio piece, and I think it's just for the simple fact that audio is the one medium that you can consume while doing other things like driving in your car.
That sounds like radio to me, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, radio. That's I say
radio.
radio
Works. Yeah, you know what? I'm an old school kind of guy. You know, I go back 22 years in the business. I've always worked with radio. TV has been, and another one. TV has been something that the last 5 years is something we've been nurturing as we go along. So VoiceAmerica.tv became a reality June of 2010. Yeah. Since that day, we were still building and growing our radio channels, but we really stepped into the TV space probably about a year, possibly a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Even though it's been existent, and we have done great projects with it. We've done Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah, just because we're doing radio doesn't mean that we're not doing the video aspect. I mean, we have video over here on our Facebook Live. We have video in the studio with the camera rolling so we can put the content up on VATV. So we know there's value in both, which is the reason why we do both, or we would not be wasting our time.
And as a father, I can't choose one or the other, you know. But anyway, so we've got some good stuff coming up. We have two very, very solid guests on the show. One is Voice America's very own TV program director, Mr. Jon Missall.
Yeah,
John's got some extensive background. And also we're going to be talking to Miss Rebecca Hall Gruyter. Rebecca goes way a couple of years back with us. In fact, you guys have met Robert Cellino a couple of weeks ago. She works with Robert on the radio side, and she works with John on the TV side. So you'll hear a lot of good quality information from Rebecca, and she'll have some good feedback. Okay, so talking about online audiences. First of all, there's 7.2 billion people across the globe.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Now, you have to minus the third world countries, and people can't really afford this, so that takes that number down considerably.
Yeah.
So when you read the book and you start going through chapter 3, choosing your medium, radio, TV, or both, you're going to find out a lot of statistical information. You know, there's 123 million people ages 12 and up that consume content at least 3 times a week. The hourly time spent on consuming internet media is about it was 12 hours 2 years ago. Up to this point, you're looking at least 15 hours plus a week.
Yeah, there is a considerable climb. I know that you and I and the management team earlier this week were doing an exercise in the conference room on like the power of social media and some of those things, and to look at the staggering numbers of, I'm not going to get too technical, but all the conversions and all of the traffic that happens as a result of some of those marketing efforts. I was completely blown away at the amount of time grown adults are on Facebook.
You know what? Time changes, man. It's
Yeah.
been years, again, being in the industry for 22 years, especially over the last 10 years, I've watched and had to change, have the company adapt. And Voice America has always stayed ahead of everybody when it comes to the digital space. So I'm happy that we've been able to stay, ahead of the curve, and we're going to continue to do that. Absolutely.
Speaking of staying ahead of the curve, just a couple of calendar things for you guys to remember. Jeff and I are jet setting out to Florida tomorrow, getting set up for the Pitbull Conference on October 24th. We'll be going live on voiceamerica.com/live events, bringing you all of the big hitters in the hard money realm. And then right after that.
But also, I just want to remind that we did the Small Business Expo yesterday. We did it live, so you can actually go to our live events.
There's a mistake right there. I have it on my notes.
You skip right and say, I'm not even on that page. Okay, so you go to the live events page now. You can hear what we did at the Small Business Expo.
Yeah, Small Business Expo was great. Had a good time with you there yesterday. I think we were vibing well with all the partners out there, and looking forward to some of those other ones coming up in 2017. And not anything lesser than the best for our Voice America listeners. AdTech New York, November 2nd and 3rd. We'll be out there bringing that to you live as well in conjunction with AdTech.
That's going to be a good one. We're going to meet a lot of our hosts out there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back, and we'll bring you some awesome guests from our radio show right here, Fighting Your Frequency. I'm Ryan Treasure.
And I'm Jeff Spenard.
We'll be right back right after these messages.
And welcome back to Finding Your Frequency. I'm your host, Jeff Spenard.
I'm Ryan Treasure.
And we are back. Today's topic is choosing your medium, radio, TV, or both. We have a professional in the studio right now. This man has been, first of all, this man has over 40 years experience in the business, music and entertainment fields. Mr. Jon Missall brings a passion and vision into the Voice America family that is seldom seen in today's competitive markets. Whether pursuing guests or sponsors for his hosts, he has been called charming, but with a relentless pursuit for perfection towards accomplishing his goals. Welcome, Mr. Jon Missall.
Thank you both for having me. I'm very humbled and honored to be here with you both.
Excellent.
Yeah, John, we really appreciate you taking time. I know you have a lot of TV clients and things that you're working with, and always making maneuvers and, taking care of the fantastic hosts that we have. So thanks for taking time out to be on with us today.
I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah. John, I got to say, we go back now. I mean, we go back maybe 8-9 years. John is a rock with the company. He is part of the family. He is Voice America with us. So, and he's done a lot. Reason why I have John on the show today is because he's got so much experience, both in radio, because that's where he started with us, and when we launched the TV network, John was the man who took over and led the pack for TV. So, John, listen, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to Voice America.
Well, I got out of media. I was out of media for a couple of years, but it goes back a long way. That 1971. We're making a long story short.
I was one.
Sorry, but that's okay. I love that.
Throw it out there.
Making a very long story short.
He does have 40 years of experience.
For the first time ever, I had the privilege of having Walter Cronkite and be at a private party with him, and him listening to an audio tape I did and say that I should be in the business. And it's always been an underlying passion, even with being in the music industry for a while. It's still part of the media, and you deal with it constantly. And you can deal with all the back end of it and the back scenes, and that's what makes it enjoyable to me, is watching and helping people go and grow and succeed on a platform, and especially a platform without sounding self-serving like we have, that goes out around the world where people can be successful. I mean, I'd much rather talk about them than myself. I was lucky enough to have brilliant people, including both of you, guide me through different aspects that I didn't know about or add to my knowledge.
Right. You always gotta keep learning, continue to learn, especially in the technology space, which is what the space that we're in. And when Walter Cronkite gives you a blessing or tells you should be doing radio or media, well, you follow it. So
Yeah, you better listen.
Glad you're here, buddy. Okay, John, you are the Voice America TV program director. You oversee everything that happens on the TV side. Talk to us about clients you've worked with and what's been the medium that they've been, or how did you get them going along with the medium?
The biggest part of having a client that wants to be successful is that they have a long-term vision. And they can see that vision and they know that it takes time to build it. I love radio dearly. I also love TV. I think it's essential that people have full media broadcasting platforms, not blog stations or web stations. It's nice to have the...
Tell us the difference.
Well, the difference is having really... in a full network broadcasting company, you have the support of so many different departments. You have... and really, it's one of the reasons I work here. I love the fact that we have the graphics people, we have the voiceover people, we have the live engineers, and we have that kind of support on the TV, the social media, everything that goes in behind the scenes where most people think you just walk in, get behind a camera, or you walk in and get behind a mic, depending on your medium. And that's what's gratifying, is to see people with visions that can understand that and they're willing to listen and learn as they go forward.
Now, you're very thorough with the prospects and the clients that you work with. Talk to us about maybe one of the people you're working with and one of the projects you're on right now.
Well, the perfect example, and I believe she'll be a guest later on in the show, would be Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Yes, exactly. Not only is she a terrifically positive person, but here's a person that had a vision, built a radio show, built a TV network, on Voice America, build a channel, I should say, on the Voice America TV network. She comes along, she has 7, 8 other shows on her, and now she's progressing to, not only will she keep all of her clients and her shows on the Voice America and her channel on Voice America, but they will also syndicate to other Voice America channels, but she'll also be we will also be building her own private label network going further. So she's just continually taking the steps along with keeping her radio show to continue to go and grow as she goes forward.
And that's something I think everybody should understand. Voice America goes beyond just being a distribution. Well, we're a distribution company when it comes to content, but we have full support, be it production, be it creative, technology, marketing, branding. It's an organization that will help you with every aspect you need, but we're also here to build you a platform that you're able to run yourself. We're just powering it. Voice America is just the name on the bottom of the screen that says powered by. It's your network now. So you're capable of building whatever you want to build for your brand.
And that's the best part of it, is when somebody comes with their ideas, to be able to share your knowledge with them, let them see the behind the scenes or the better ways sometimes to direct their shows and or their own particular clients, along with sharing the ideas together to get a even better product by, two heads being better than one.
It's very true. Very true. So if I have to ask you, and I don't even know if I have to ask you this question, but choosing your medium, radio, TV, or both?
By far both. Even though I work 95% of my life now in TV, I honestly would say it's 51-49. There's talk radio is going to be around forever and a day. Yeah. It's just going to be around a whole lot more on an internet platform.
Sure.
Yeah.
However, the new wave moving forward is definitely video also, and being able to leverage that.
It's a huge populace, absolutely.
To me, I feel that's why it's so important to people that really want to be in the industry, that whether it takes them 6 months or it takes them a year or it takes them 2 years, they need to look to separate themselves from other people doing what they're doing.
Sure.
That they have that full platform. because it does separate them. It does give them real credibility, not perceived credibility in the industry of what they're doing.
Agreed. Now, let me ask you, when you're talking to somebody, are you establishing whether or not they're a better fit for radio or TV, or are you just talking to a specific person right now for a specific medium?
When I'm talking to people, I really want to listen more than I'm talking. I'm really trying to decipher what I personally think is best for them. However, they need to follow their passion in their business. If I recommend something to them and they don't have the same kind of passion for it as another avenue that they want to do, it's only going to be half the effort. So I want to listen to them. I want to develop them in the many ways that they want to go down a road to be successful. I don't want them to live my vision. I want to help them live theirs.
Well put.
Yeah,
Well
that's
said.
very well put. I really like that about you, John, that you're so open-minded with the people that you work with, and you're able to kind of take that passion, like you said, and direct them down a road, because you're right. If you're not passionate about something, you're only going to do the bare minimum to get the job done, rather than going in all feet first and ready to really rock and roll on the avenue that you're trying to run down. So that is a really great point. One thing to add, right, when we're talking about choosing the medium, I know you said 51-49% was your kind of split on that. Tell people why it's important to do both.
Well, it gives you a global reach. It's almost like you don't go on it. I mean, you're always going to have a global reach on each of those platforms, but it's like going in social media as an analogy. As you all know, I'm very big on those and cliches.
Yes, you are.
But when if you just did Facebook for your entire life and you left out Twitter or LinkedIn, depending upon your successes and what you're trying to accomplish in business, you're leaving a massive part of your audience out.
Yep.
Whereas when you have both, you have the ability to reach everyone that you want to reach in every particular genre. If you do it correctly, you're going to find clients. I love media, but I also love sports. Okay.
Sure.
And there's other people that watch sports that watch business shows.
Sure.
Just because they have a favorite thing does not mean that they can't be helped another way, which again is another way why radio and TV helps you reach those people, especially on a global basis as we go.
Sure. Now, another question that I have, and I'm just spitballing this out there. Yeah, I like numbers. I like to know what's going on, especially with my own company. But when you look at TV and radio, what is the time spent on video versus audio?
Well, you're always going to spend a little bit more time in video, and maybe not you personally as a host of a show.
Sure.
Depending on how far you want to technically dive into it yourself. It takes you a little bit more time to put your videos together because you have editors. You want that quality professional look. I mean, it's things we can also do for you, but a lot of our clients, some of them we do some work for us, or we do some work for them. Some of them have their own video people, and they're on their own time schedules.
Sure.
And then they need to review it, et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to radio and doing a show, I personally believe that besides your hour show, if you're putting in, unless you're going to make this a full-time career, if you're putting more than 2 hours in a week on a radio show, that you're overthinking it, you're probably over-scripting it, and you're probably going to fail.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with the last part about, if you put more than, you're going to fail. I think, there's a lot of hosts that have multiple things that they want to include in their show. So, and again, that all goes with preparation. So, I agree with what you're saying, and I appreciate that. You obviously work on both sides of the coin here. So, but yeah. So
no, I just got to put that in there. Perhaps I didn't phrase that very well because you're right. Because some people, as long as they're not doing their interviews ahead of time, and that's where people I think tend to do it. They spend more time, and then when they get on a show, they're stale.
Okay, good.
So
I'm glad that was cleared up because I want to make sure that the information we're giving to people, especially when they're trying to think, okay, I want to do a show. How do I do this? And get good feedback. Then they were able to get proper information from the show. Ryan.
John, I want to thank you so much for being on in this segment. And I have one thing I have to throw in here. I got some statistics for real quick while we go to a commercial break.
Stats.
67.4% of all internet users consume internet radio in a given month. That's 176 million human beings in the United States on a monthly basis. Now you want to talk video? Video. YouTube alone reaches 95% of the entire internet population. So that goes to tell you where there's a little bit higher consumption on the video side, which goes to your point about spending more time on the video. But however, 174 million and 67.4% of the internet population is nothing to shake a stick at on the radio side.
Exactly. But you know what? You got to look at the stats beyond that. You got to look at the age groups and demographics. If you've got 12-year-olds looking at dogs doing backflips, okay, that's great. If you're trying to build something that's going to be sustainable and that's actually going to have quality content that's going to educate the populace, which is what we do here at Voice America, then it's going to be a different audience and different stats.
Absolutely it is.
John, thanks for being on the show. Glad to have you. And we'll see you, I'm sure, in the future.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun. Love the show.
We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. Rebecca Hall Gruyter up next.
Welcome back to Finding Your Frequency. I'm your host, Jeff Spenard.
And I'm Ryan Treasure. Welcome back to the show.
And we've had a great first two segments of the show. In segment number one, we talked a little bit about, age groups and demographics, who's consuming the content, digital media becoming more of the consumed content. So, moving into this show and this segment, can we start again, please?
Absolutely. And you got to get your mic there, so.
Okay.
All right,
That's
here
supposed
we
to be
go.
traditional. See, I didn't finish off my own little. Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. In 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to Finding Your Frequency. I'm your host, Jeff Spenard.
And I'm co-host Ryan Treasure. Welcome back to the show.
It's been a great show so far. We opened up the show. We talked about age groups and demographics for the radio and TV segments. Matt, we're going to do this just one more time.
Okay, Matt, 25
Should
minutes.
I just lose this part? We'll just get into...
Yeah, we got to be...
I'm trying to go back to the beginning. Then I was going to say, and John has some great information. We haven't talked to John yet, so I'm just going to come in with...
When this airs, we would have talked to John.
Oh, no, I know
so
that.
You can say that.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, I'll take the countdown again.
All right, here we go. In 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to Finding Your Frequency. I'm your host, Jeff Spenard.
And I'm your co-host, Mr. Ryan Treasure. Welcome back to the show.
Well, we've had a great show so far, Ryan. We've introduced Mr. Jon Missall to the scene, who is our network TV program director.
Yeah, what a wealth of knowledge he is with 40 years in the media business. Just hearing the things that he has to say and the way that he puts them is, really special, I think, for the listeners to really engage with that type of experience.
Yeah, this man's been around for a very long time. In fact, today was his birthday. So we got to celebrate a little bit with him. So it was fun.
We sang happy birthday to him in the studio with Rebecca and made him turn red. It was quite fun.
Yes, we did. In fact, speaking of Rebecca is sitting with us here right now. Rebecca is the founder and owner of Your Purpose-Driven Practice. She's the creator of the Women's Empowerment Series events and the TV show. She is the network director for Voice America's Women's Channel for both radio and TV. As the CEO of RHD Media Productions, Rebecca recently launched an international TV channel called Empowerment Connections TV. Author of 9 popular books, including Becoming Outrageously Successful with Dr. Anita Jackson, who was on the network at one point, and others. Succeeding Against All Odds with Sandra Yancey and others, and Catch Your Star with Bev Adamo and others. Rebecca recently received recognition as one of the top 10 working women of the year from AWWIN, which is Assisting Working Women in Need. Rebecca is available online at
yourpurposedrivenpractice.com.
Welcome to the show, Rebecca.
Thank you. Honored to be here.
That is Rebecca Hall Gruyter, ladies and gentlemen. She is with us today. And we're having a pretty good show right now. We're talking about choosing your medium, TV or radio or both. Mm-hmm. So why don't you tell us a little bit of background on yourself based on what we've talked about here?
Sure. The first point that I entered into media was on the radio side. I had just published the book, Succeeding Against All Odds with Sandra Yancey, and was starting to step into new spheres of influence that I hadn't been in before, and was stretching to be in that. I found it really exciting, and then overwhelming, and then exciting, and kind of finding my legs in that. And having this, that's how I showed up on Voice America's radar. And having this opportunity to step into an international reach and touch more lives was super exciting. But what was really, really impressive to me about Voice America was that they help you every step of the way. I didn't have to have the whole vision figured out. I didn't need to know all the technology. They would walk right beside me. I just needed to have the vision and the willingness. And as I stepped into television and the different roles that I get to be in media, that has consistently been the journey.
Gotcha. Well, it's good to have those kudos, knowing that the team is in full support and that we work with everybody, whether it's TV or radio. I believe you work with Jon on the TV side of the business.
Yep.
Great. I understand that part of what you do is you have auditions with people. Tell us what that's all about.
I would love to. It's the speaker talent search. And this originally started because I had events and I had live stages. And once a speaker and a messenger finds out you have a stage, they're like, oh, I want to be on it. And they would send me information, or that's the only thing they'd want to talk to me about at a networking event. And I learned very quickly their definition of a speaker and how they held that energy was sometimes different than mine. And so that's what birthed the speaker talent search. And it's really about bringing the messengers that are wanting to be on the stages to the people that have the stages in radio and television and live events, so they can actually meet and experience each other. And that's what that audition's about. But there's two parts. There's the written audition part, which really helps them get clear on their message and make sure they have everything to be ready. And then there's the audition part, where they get 7 minutes to share their message, beginning, middle, end, and make an offer, so we can feel how they do that and make sure it's in alignment towards our opportunities.
Now that's interesting. You say we. Who is we?
Oh, we are the people on the panel.
Okay. So tell me what that panel looks like.
I would. I'd be happy to. So we actually will be at the headquarters of Voice America. So you heard it here first.
Yeah, absolutely.
In
that's
March. That's right. In March. You have until the end of January to apply for that one. So make sure sooner rather than later.
Get your message defined.
Exactly. And there's great resources here, including a book recently published, Finding Your Frequency, to help us do that. But it's so important because part of the reason speakers are not getting opportunities is they're not clear on who they serve. They're not clear on their message, or they don't have the things in place that they need, like a speaker sheet, to get these opportunities. So they're going to be in front of the panel, which are TV show hosts, radio show hosts, people that have live events. These are the actual decision makers that are looking for speakers. They are so committed, they invest a whole week to being there.
Right.
And experiencing presentation after presentation so they can find those right matches for their
Such
stages.
a beautiful setup. I love the whole concept. I love what you're doing. How long have you been doing that for?
Oh my, I think about 4 years, maybe 5.
How much talent have you found over the years?
Oh, hundreds and hundreds. And so when we originally started it, it was where I live in Northern California, and we had 3 people on the panel, and I had to kind of beg them to come. Please,
right.
help me hold this space. And now, and we had 300 opportunities, I think, at that time. Now, every audition, we have anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 to 2,000, actually, opportunities we're looking to fill every single time. I find things are created when the talent finds the stages and they find the opportunities, that there really is opportunity for all different levels. It's that willingness. Are you willing to step forward? Are you willing to be seen and to bring your message forward?
Excellent. Now, being both a TV or radio host and a TV personality, which do you prefer? Or is there a preference?
You know what? Honestly, it depends on the day because I love both.
day.
I love both medias. Yeah, yeah. So, there's the bad hair days, and I'm so grateful it's radio. and then, or I can have the facial mask on, except when we're doing Facebook Live. Then there's, hello.
VoiceAmerica TV right there.
That's
Hello.
right. Hello. So it's nice to have that flexibility and to be on the road. But I also find that TV is so powerful because you're communicating a message even without words. So it's like multiple ways that you're communicating and making a difference around the world. It just takes a little more prep time,
Right, exactly.
to step into that space. But I love both.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, I really appreciate, working with you and John and Robert on both sides, radio and TV. And, it's definitely nice to see some of the growth that you guys have had over, the time in your tenure with Voice America on both the radio side and now the TV kind of launching up. And just to kind of tag on to what Jeff was saying about, which one do you like better? I've always had this this feeling for myself, and I'm an audio guy at heart, so I'm going to put that out there now so that way people know that. But I do video and lighting and all that kind of stuff too. But I always felt that audio, was the one medium or medium that could be consumed anytime, anywhere, right? No matter what. I notice, people driving their cars while they're listening.
You can't drive down the road watching.
On the weekend, you listen to music while you clean your house and you do your laundry and all that. So, I just feel like sometimes people lose sight sometimes of how powerful the spoken word is in an audio medium. And I'm not, don't get me wrong, I love watching videos. I'm a TV buff. I watch all those shows on television and all that, and I appreciate the artistic components of video.
Well, it's kind of like reading a book and watching the TV, the show on TV.
Right.
Your audio, you're hearing it, and you've got your own picture going on, as opposed to seeing that video. So I'm right with you there.
Cool. Well, I'm glad. What do you feel about that?
I think they're just different medias. Radio, I think, is more portable. People can take it on the road without the visual distracting them. But there's something about connecting heart to heart and voice to voice, because sometimes when there's a lot of noise and distraction or visual, people are not leaning in and hearing the message as much. So I think there's a really powerful interaction that happens on the radio with that, because it's your voice and it's their ears and it's connecting and listening in that way. It's very intimate.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas on video, there's more things going on in the communication.
Yeah, I always tell people, for my production background, right, without audio, it's just a picture show, right, and without lights, it's just radio, right. So it kind of works in both sides on those pieces. And I know that will probably lead us into our next question for you, which I'm going to let Jeff deliver here.
Yeah, and this is about you've got a new TV channel that you're launching. The Empowered Connections TV is the name of the network. What's your vision with that network?
Oh, sure. And Empowered Connections TV is actually the television channel, and that I'm going to actually have syndicated on the Voice America network and the new network. So
good.
Yeah, so the network that's going to be launching is RHD TV Network. And with that, we're raising up channel owners that each have their respective vision. And so they're creating a container for their up to 120 shows that they're going to be bringing to the world. And then my vision for the overall network is to make a positive difference around the world.
Are you already working with people that are going to be on the network with their own given channels?
Yes.
So with that, maybe if you could just explain to us maybe one instance of maybe your, I don't want to say favorite because you don't play favorites in the media business, but name one of those clients that you're working with now and kind of what you guys are doing without spilling the gravy.
Well, I want them to be able to unveil their respective channels.
That's it. No names.
Yeah, but we do have right now 5 channels that will be launching when we go live in January, and each of them will have several shows that are going live at the same time, because something they understand, and I made really clear, is you can't launch a channel without shows.
Right.
So we need to have shows. So they've been going out and really finding people that are called to step into television. They're called to bring that vision forward, and they're helping them develop their shows. So that's the phase that we're in right now. So they've gotten clarity on their respective channel, what they're bringing forward.
Speaking of respective channels, what would the categories be? Can you give us that?
Yes. So there will be a business category.
Okay.
There will be a women's category.
Mm-hmm.
And there are categories that are falling in. I don't want to give away their names and brand. More
I'm
of
trying.
that empowerment transformation arena. And then what I have said, my Empowered Connections will also be on the channel.
Excellent.
Yeah,
And a
that's
number
excellent.
of the channel owners are actually bringing forward their own shows as well. So they're stepping into both spaces at the same time, which is real exciting.
Is that part of your training process when you're working, is to get them to the point of empowerment where now they can do like you do and help build channels and things like that?
Well, it's lifting up and really treating it like a business. One of the challenges I find out there for messengers and speakers is that they are so committed to their message, they're sacrificing everything to bring it out there. And frequently they're struggling financially to do that. And what we've been able to develop in this model is actually a way for them to, if they do the steps and follow the training, they're building a nice six-figure income year after year that's going to grow from there, that's reoccurring income.
Sure.
And they're lifting up people's messages and all of that. We're not looking for people that are just looking for the income.
Sure,
We're looking for people that are really wanting, they have a mentoring heart. They're compelled to lift up and mentor others. And that's someone who will be a very successful channel owner. And then we mentor them and help them build that design and follow the steps.
Right. Well, Rebecca just explained herself.
You know what is really cool that she said in that part of the show was talking about how you have to have content in order to build a channel. I don't know how many times in the business I've been working with Jeff, and we've been, working on whether it's a new channel or something like that, or you get a hold of somebody who's so excited about doing radio or television, and they're just like, I want a whole channel.
Yeah.
And I think people sometimes don't realize that you have to have that content. For our radio stations, I think we don't launch a brand new channel right until we have like 12 or 15 shows that are going on those channels. And so just kind of hearing it from somebody else's perspective who's in the growth process of building a network and kind of dealing with some of the things that we deal with makes me feel like that I'm a little excited because we're not the only ones that have to deal with that on a regular basis. And I'm glad that we're here to be able to lend our support for what you're doing on that side, with all of the expertise that Voice America has in that arena and being able to, guide you in that direction and be a part of that piece that's growing for you as well. It's very exciting.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very, very grateful. And we're able to go that much further and with that much more success because we are partnering with you and you're the power and the technology behind what we're doing and really able to make this. We want to create a lasting legacy.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Now, we've obviously had our disappointments in the past. We've, created a power-up channel, which was everything motorsports and, go get them. And, back to what Ryan was saying before, we were working with a woman who was in the motorsports industry, had a lot of connections, and, of course, based on that, I'm going to build a power-up channel. So Voice America backed that project up.
That's a good point that you're making, too, because I think it really lends to the topic for today. When you talk about choosing your medium, radio, or TV, this is a perfect example of where one particular topic matter is definitely more of a visual space than it is an audible space. And so in that area where we were, trying to talk about motorsports on a talk radio perspective, it wasn't as popular as the Power Up Motorsports TV channel,
which still exists,
right? Which is still ongoing. And
now,
popular,
I will say
right?
this: there was good content from the hosts that were on the network. The problem was we couldn't get enough to sustain an entire channel.
Right.
So that was the downfall there. But yes, you're absolutely 100% correct with the TV channel. It is much more exciting to watch power sports on TV.
Yeah, it's one thing to sit there and have a conversation with somebody about drag boats, right, and how cool they are. It's a whole other experience to watch drag boats racing each other in high definition on your phone.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, that definitely lended well to the topic today.
Yeah, and we've had other issues with certain channels. This is actually the second attempt at a women's channel. We worked with Greenstone Media probably about 9 years ago, and we got the show off the ground. I was working with the vice president of Greenstone. That's what, Gloria Steinem?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, they had put together the network. It was a women's network, but they only had like maybe 4 hosts per show, doing 4 or 5 hours a day. After 2 years, they went banked. We were the farm league, so to speak, for the women's channel, so that the women that were on that network had the opportunity to advance to, Greenstone Media. Unfortunately, they spent $12 million. They went bankrupt, and the women's channel never really took off. Even though we had lots of demo reels from women who wanted to do shows, problem is they weren't ready to finance the shows. We were talking about finances before, so that was kind of the reason why that channel didn't succeed, is because, once again, the financials weren't there for it.
Yeah, and that's definitely important when you work with any kind of production-related content creation, and that's one of the reasons, when you do pick out your medium, whether it's radio or TV, it's really, really important to, look at where your finances are and how you're going to produce that content, because shooting video and producing video is like 5 times more expensive than doing an audio component because of the lighting, the equipment, right? Sometimes you have, depending on what you're shooting, right? If you're creating, series on content, you have talent fees, people want to get paid to be on camera, all that kind of stuff. So when you are working on figuring out which medium you want to go with for your messaging, it's really important to make sure you have the finances to go on the backside
and
of
make
those.
sure that when you're putting content together, or when you're trying to put content together, have the resources to make sure you can build that network and that channel.
Yep, I absolutely agree. Well, we're getting a little short on time here for the segment. Before we jump out, Rebecca, why don't you just let the listening audience know a little bit about more where they can get a hold of you, maybe your Facebook and Twitter handle and those kind of things, so we can get some engagement and some other people interacting with you for your talent search.
Sure, I would absolutely love that. So you can look up all the details about the Speaker Talent Search at speakertalentsearch.com. We try to keep it really simple and easy. And if you're wanting to learn about the network, the channels, the different things we're doing, you can go to yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. You'll be able to click through to Voice America and to all the different ways, including Facebook, Twitter, for us to stay connected. I'd love to connect and support you in finding your vision and stepping forward powerfully.
Excellent. Rebecca, I want to thank you. First of all, you've been here for a couple of days. You came to visit us at Voice America. We so appreciate you coming over. We had a great lunch. Thank you for your appearance today and everything you were able to talk about. I'm sure the audience will be well informed and educated, and it's a great series to help with the book.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you for hosting me for 2 days. It's been wonderful to meet all of you face to face. Yeah.
Hey, everybody out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're right here with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. Go check out voiceamerica.tv. You can check out her Empowered Connections TV channel and connect with her on yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. I'm with Jeff Spenard. I'm Ryan Treasure. Go check us out on Facebook, at Radio Ryan 1 on Twitter, and at Jeff Spinney 2. We'll come back and close out the show in just a couple of moments. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
And welcome back to Finding Your Frequency. I am your host, Jeff Spenard.
And I am Ryan Treasure.
And we had a great show today, choosing your medium, TV, radio, or both. We heard from 2 interesting guests that were able to share their knowledge and help the potential people that are looking to do a show figure out maybe if radio is a better choice, if TV is a better choice, or if they want to do both. So we had some Mr. Jon Missall, and of course, we just finished talking to Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Yeah, it was really good to have both of those guys on and listen to their experience and expertise in the field and really dig in a little deeper than just your average, everyday, what do I do kind of conversation, and really bring it back full circle with somebody who does radio and TV on both sides of the Voice America platform. So it was great interviews. Great job.
Yeah, and of course, everybody, you have an opportunity to call and ask questions. So we really would like to push that out there. Make sure if you have any questions to give a call. Or, you know what, don't be afraid to shoot me an email at jeff@voiceamerica.com. I'll always reply to your emails and answer any questions you may have. So this was a great show. This was actually Chapter 3 of the book. Next week, we'll be talking about defining your goals.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really big show, defining the goals, because now that we've talked about, the audience and the medium and defining the message, and now it's really about setting the goals and really going after them and not being afraid and having that intestinal fortitude.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. So, we're having fun with the show. We're preparing more and more so each and every week. Once we're actually done with the book, we're going to be moving on to some big-time celebrities, athletes, and much, much more. So keep tuning into the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're Finding Your Frequency. Jeff Spenard and Ryan Treasure will be back next week. Stay tuned and go check us out on Twitter at Radio Ryan 1, at Jeff Spinney 2.
And that's SPINNY 2, Jeff Spinney 2.
Get out there and find your frequency.